Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The securities industry could soon witness a cleanup of the sector. This can be likened to what happened to the banking industry. George Affair has more on that.
Also say this may lead to some firms operating in the securities and capital space being restricted from their operations or possibly lose their licenses. This may lead to funds or investment that they are holding being transferred to another firm that is in good standing. However, we are not sure for now the firms that might be affected and the possible new entities that might be created to manage these funds. The action should have taken place a long time ago, but the challenge then was securing the required funding for these exercises and also identifying those that have been affected and giving them the second chance to work on their problems and challenges. What we understand now is that the required funding has been secured for the regulator to go ahead with this industry action. The sector had in recent times been hit by some liquidity squeeze and what some are describing as the aftershocks of the banking sector cleanup. This made it difficult for some of the investors and clients to get their funds. Persons with knowledge of this action say there's no need for anyone to panic because those who were struggling then to get their funds are now in a better position to get access to them, and nobody's investment to be lost based on this planned regulatory action. This could be the last round of the financial sector cleanup. That is, if the Bank of Ghana is also able to finalize the restructuring of the rural banks in the country. They are doing this because of their critical role that they play in the rural economy.
And we'll have more on this new information we are receiving, including news that customers of Gold Coast Fund Management are asking the Securities and Exchange Commission boss to resign. More on that coming up at the top of the hour when the marketplace comes your way. In other news, the International Finance Corporation is urging more robust identification system and collateral registry, among others, to support the warehouse receipt financing system to persuade banks to lend to the agribusiness sector. Speaking at the International Finance Corporation IFC West Africa Warehouse Receipt Financing Forum, the country manager for IFC, Ronke Amoni Ogunsulire, said for the warehouse receipt system to work effectively, the right infrastructure must be put in place to encourage the banks to lend.
The warehouse receipt financing allows farmers and agribusiness SMEs to use agricultural commodities stored in certified warehouses as collateral to access credit from financial institutions. Although the system is well developed for the cocoa sector, it is now being introduced to other commodities listed on the Ghana Commodity Exchange, such as maize, rice, sorghum, soya bean, and sesame. Speaking on the sidelines of the International Finance Corporation West Africa Warehouse Receipt Financing Forum, the country manager for the IFC said, for the system to be effective, there must also be a proper financial infrastructure system in place to convince banks to lend.
It's one good thing to have collateral, but those are one of the constraints to financing. Another constraint is just knowing your customer. Banks want to know who they're lending to. So all the work that the government of Ghana is doing on the IDs and so on will help. The other thing that is important is there's work that IFC is doing with the Central Bank of Ghana, where we're working on the credit bureaus. So it's basically having information on lenders so that when a bank wants to potentially lend to a customer, they can go into the system and see this customer has borrowed before and has paid back within the time frame. So this is a good customer. So there's no need to penalize our customer for other bad customers in the system. Another thing is the collateral registry. It's putting in place a collateral registry so that once collateral has been used to get a loan, everybody in the system knows that it's been used and it can't be used again. So these are some of the things that also helps banks feel more comfortable and lend to the agribusiness sector.
Meanwhile, the CEO for the Ghana Commodity Exchange says progress has been made with the warehouse receipt systems, and farmers can currently use their warehouse receipt to also obtain loans from some 12 banks.
With the warehouse receipts, they are able to trade on the exchange platform at the time that they feel that the prices are right for them. Just about last week, we also launched the warehouse receipt financing, so the farmers can now, Ghanaian farmers can now they can now use their receipts as a security or as a sole collateral to be able to get loans from some commercial banks. Any farmer can access it. So far as the farmer comes to us and then, you can use the receipt, you can access it. It's no problem.
But which banks can they get?
The banks, we have about 12 banks that have registered with us. All the high street banks you see, they can all come in and, and they provide the financing.
The two-day West Africa Warehouse Receipt Financing Forum by the IFC is aimed at helping governments introduce and implement warehouse receipt systems to the benefit of farmers. For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
Some good news for the agribusiness sector is over to you, Daniel.